December 3rd was a day Lauren had been anticipating for some time. The 44-year-old Boston resident just got married to the love of her life, and although this day was certainly special, the two had a few more days of fun and excitement to spend with each other before they left their honeymoon vacation in the Bahamas. On December 4th, Lauren and her husband decided to go paddleboarding near New Providence. At first, everything seemed fine. The water was cold but not unbearable, and she was with the man she would be spending the rest of her life with. Life seemingly couldn't get any better. But then as she was paddling, Lauren saw something large swimming just under her. As she stared at the large dark mass, Lauren's heart stopped. It wasn't a dolphin or a large stingray. It was a 10-foot shark, and it was very hungry. Hello, my name is Joseph Palmer, and today I wanted to do a video on the recent fatal shark attack of Lauren Wart, a recently married woman who was eaten alive while paddleboarding in the Bahamas just a day after she got married. Now without further ado, let's dive into the heartbreaking story of Lauren Van Wart. Lauren Van Wart was a 44-year-old Boston native who had a successful career as a supervising editor for mathematics from 2014 till now in North Billerica, Massachusetts. Before that, she worked for Pearson for more than 7 years as a senior editor in the secondary math product development area. She also worked as an editor and associate editor for that company. Lauren was certainly an accomplished woman, but one thing she always wanted was a loving family, and that came true when she met her husband. The two decided to get married in the Bahamas, and on December 3rd they did just that. The next day, the two decided to go paddleboarding near the Sandals Royal Bohemian Resort. At around 11:15 a.m., a mile from shore, Lauren was attacked from the right side by a 10-foot shark. The shark grabbed onto her hip and pulled her into the water, where it proceeded to devour her. Lauren's husband could do nothing but watch helplessly as the shark tore her apart. A lifeguard and guest on the beach heard the blood-curdling screams. The lifeguard rushed to save the two, pulling them onto his boat. CPR was administered, but unfortunately Lauren did not make it. A few weeks ago in the Bahamas, a German tourist was eaten by a shark, and in June of this year, a scuba diver had his leg amputated due to an attack as well. Also last year, an American tourist was killed while snorkeling. Although rare, shark attacks have been increasing in recent years, and with advance in technology, these attacks have been caught on tape. Vladimir Popov, a young man in Egypt, was eaten alive by a female tiger shark. The incident was caught on tape, traumatizing many who saw it. Lauren Van Wart was a beautiful woman who had an accomplished career and was a loving wife and mother who was tragically eaten alive by a 10-foot shark. And though sad and horrifying, this reminds us that when we enter the ocean, we step into the domain of the sharks, the perfect killing machine that have outlived the dinosaurs and will most likely outlive us as well. November 2nd, 2018. Hundreds of people from over 50 villages were weeping. For the last 2 years, people were too scared to work in their fields, see their loved ones, or even leave their homes. You see, for the last 2 years, a monster lurked in Yavat Mall, killing anyone she came across. The villagers did everything they could to protect themselves, but no matter what, someone would die. Many felt the killings would never stop, and would continue until no one was left. But on November 2nd, screams echoed through the many villages. This was the happiest day of their lives, and although many had died, no one would suffer as the monster was gone. The man-eating tiger of Wart Mall was finally dead. Hello, my name is Joseph Palmer, and today I wanted to do a video on Avni, the man-eating tiger of Wart Mall, who killed at least 5 people in the span of 2 years. But it is thought that she killed much more. We will be talking about her victims and how she was finally brought down on November 2nd, 2018. Now without further ado, let's begin. Our story begins on the morning of June 1st, 2016, when Sonabe had gone to her fields to collect green shoots for her goats. "I will finish this quickly and return," she told her ailing husband. This was her daily routine. Get up early, finish her work at home, then go to the fields to bring back green shoots. But that day, Sonabe did not return. He told us in the afternoon that she hadn't yet returned from the field. Subhash recalls, sitting in the thatched porch of their 2-room hut in Bharati. "I sent a boy to look for her, but he came back to tell us that she was not to be seen. Only her plastic water bottle was there." So Subhash and a couple of others went to the fields. They saw marks in the dry ground at one corner of their 5-acre farm where they grow cotton, as if someone had been dragged. "We followed the marks and found her mauled body 500 meters from the field in the forest patch," recalls Subhash. "We were shocked. Sonabe was the first known victim of Avni. Unfortunately, she would not be the last." Gajanan, a 40-year-old male who was killed by Avni on his farm. That afternoon, the tigress came from behind and pounced on him. The villagers found his body laying in a bush 500 meters into the forest. Gajanan's wife said, quote, "My husband died 4 months ago. His wife was so scared of Avni, she moved back to her parents in the village of Warahat district. The villagers keep a night vigil. Some of the youths have joined the forest department's operation to capture Avni. There's a problem finding laborers to pick cotton. No one wants to go to the fields out of fear," says Ravadara Thakri, a young villager. Gajanan must have been stunned by the tigress that came from behind while he worked on his farm, his mother says. "Extremely angry and agitated, I lost my son to the tigress that came from nowhere. The forest department must kill her. Only then will we be able to live normal lives again." Ramaji, 70, had just lit a campfire on his 2-acre farm to keep wild boars and nilgai away from their stranding rabi wheat crop. Kalabe, his wife, was picking cotton at the other end of their farm. Suddenly she heard a noise and a tigress pouncing on her husband from behind. Avni had emerged from the bushes and caught hold of him by his neck. He was dead in an instant, she says. Ramaji would take care of the farm, while his sons worked as laborers on other fields. "Both of us had farmed every single day of our lives since we got married. It was our life. Now she has stopped going to the farm. I ran towards a mound trembling in fear, shouting for help. He would not have imagined this is how he would die." The tigress dragged Ramaji's body through the farm, even as Kalabe ran to an upper area to save herself. Another villager, who was with his cattle nearby when he saw Avni holding Ramaji by his neck, shouted and threw a stick at her. He says the tigress stared at him, picked up the body again, and walked away. At this point, with 3 dead, every village began to fear Avni, terrified where she would strike next, and it wouldn't be too long until she found her next victim. 7 months later, Golabrao Mokashi, 65, was killed on August 5th, 2018. His elder brother kept asking him not to venture deep into the forest, but he ignored his advice. "I knew of the lurking danger when our cows began to move and become restless. They had perhaps smelled something," said an elderly woman when interviewed, recounting in the Varhadi dialect of what happened that day. Minutes later, he heard a tiger growling and then pouncing on his brother. "It was a huge animal, and my brother stood no chance. He shouted at the tigress, picked up stones and hurled them at her. The animal vanished into the forest shrubbery, leaving the body of his brother there. I ran back to the village to get some help. Many villagers came with me, and we managed to get my brother's body back home. It had been mauled. Nathuji hasn't recovered from the shock and fear of that day. The brothers routinely took around 100 cattle of the village for grazing to the forest nearby, where Avni was on the prowl for 2 years. In August of 2018, Avni killed 3 other people, and at this point, citizens felt Avni would never leave, and her rampage would continue forever. Many knew that they could not sit around waiting to be eaten, so instead they decided to take the fight to her. The hunt for the tigress was on, with the help of traps, cameras, drones, a pack of trained sniffer dogs, and a hang glider, along with a team of Forest Department officials to finally locate her. On November 2nd, 2018, Avni was shot dead by sharpshooter Asghar Ali. It took over 150 people, 5 elephants, and multiple other animals to finally track her down. She was survived by her 2 10-month-old cubs. Avni was a tiger who killed at least 5 people in a 2-year span. Most were relieved and happy, however not everyone. Some believe she should have been captured and relocated to another part of the forest, or sent to a sanctuary. But let me know what you think. Did she need to die? Or should they have tried to capture her alive? Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to make more videos for you soon.